edition of the Money Conversation. My name is Theodora Otu, the money woman, the financial lord, the Odogures of money. And yes, we are still on the series, The 9 Tips of Money by Robert Kiyosaki. It's been a minute. I had workshops from Friday through this morning, and that's why we have not posted the 6th and the 7th tip, but you're going to be getting them this week. We're going to be rounding up with the 9 tips of money by Robert Kiyosaki this week, so don't lose hope. I've been getting a lot of messages saying, when are you rounding up the remaining 4 tips, right? So you're going to be getting them this week. Today we're going to be looking at the 7th tip that says, know the difference between bad and good debts. Yes, you heard me right. The first time I heard the concept of good debt, I'm like, what good can come out of debts, right? I've been in debts and I know how draining it can be. I know the pressure that can come with being in debt, and so I didn't think that anything good can come out from debt. But you see, Robert Kiyosaki challenged this traditional belief that debt is bad. He challenged it. Instead, he teaches that the rich, they use debt to create more wealth. They strategically deploy the use of debt to build their wealth, while the poor will often just fall into debt that keeps them trapped. So we are going to be looking at the difference between the good and the bad debt. Let's see, what is a bad debt, right? A bad debt is debt that takes money out of your pockets without giving you anything in return. So this debt keeps draining you. It takes money out of your pocket. You borrow money, let's say, to buy a car. You borrow money in your credit card loan. You borrow money to fix your lifestyle, to fund your lifestyle rather. To fund your lifestyle. You buy human hair, you buy that ashwebi, even though you don't have the funds. You borrow money because you just want to belong. You don't want to be the one that is left out. That is bad debt, because those things you're investing the money in will not generate any income in the long run. They will not put any money in your pocket. So that is what is known as bad debt. Bad debts usually come with very high interest rates, and they do not generate income. So over time, they drain your wealth and limit your financial freedom. It puts you under immense pressure. Even the ones that don't have an interest rate, just borrowing money from a friend, or you're owing somebody, your landlord, all these things put pressure on you. Those are bad debts. Now, what is good debt? Just the opposite. This is the debt used to acquire or build income producing assets. One of the things that has been recurrent in all the tips is income producing assets. Do you see? So when you borrow money, right, to acquire or build an income producing asset, it is a good debt. For example, we have taking a mortgage or rental property that generates monthly cash flow. We are, borrowing or investing in businesses that profits you. You borrow to invest. Borrowing to invest in businesses that profits you. Or using loan to acquire equipment that increases productivity. When you collect that loan to acquire an equipment that increases your productivity, that is a good debt. So good debt works for you because the asset pays back the loan and still puts money in your pocket, so you don't have to dip into your pocket to pay for the loan. Just the simple definition is, any loan you don't have to dip your hand into your pocket or into your salary to pay is a good debt. Any loan that produces the funds that pays itself is a good debt, while a bad debt is any loan that you have to pay from your pocket and it doesn't produce anything, it doesn't give you anything back in the long run. Rather, it drains you and leaves you trapped. This is is just the simple difference between good debt and bad debt. So we have seen that in good debt, it's like the debt is working for you. If you really need to understand this, go back to the sixth tip where I talked about making money work for you. I gave relatable examples of how money can work for you, and it's the same way that debts can work for you. Right now, one of the emphasis by Robert Kiyosaki is that the difference in this whole good and bad debt is just the mindset. It is the mindset and your level of financial literacy. So we're back to the first tip: school yourself financially. Your level of financial literacy really matters when you're talking about the concept of good or bad debt. Now, the poor and the middle class often borrow money to look rich, buying cars, gadgets, or luxury items, while the wealthy borrow to get richer. They invest in real estate, businesses, or other assets. You will recall that when Dangote wanted to launch his refinery, he borrowed money from the Nigerian government. He borrowed money from CBN. The question you should be asking yourself is, why would Dangote, the richest man in Africa, borrow money? This is a trick that the wealthy reach to become wealthy. They will never tie down their personal funds. They will always borrow money to run that new venture, while their personal funds is being secured and all that. So the rich will never use their money to start something, to expand their businesses, to buy that asset. They'll always borrow money to do it. And then the assets they acquire will pay for the money borrowed while still generating income for them. So the key takeaways today is that debt itself is not the enemy. That's number one. Number two is when debt is misused, that is when it becomes the enemy. Then number three is, if you want to grow wealthy, avoid bad debt at all costs. Avoid it at all costs and learn how to use good debts as a lever to build assets that create long-term financial freedom for you. So if you can master these three takeaways, you'll begin to use debt in your favor, and it will no longer be something that puts you under pressure or keeps you trapped financially. I hope you have learned something. Two major tips that can change the direction of your finances very fast is the sixth and the seventh tip. So if you have not listened to the sixth, please go back and listen to it, and then listen to the seventh again, and then start putting them into practice. Until I come your way again with the eighth tip, I remain your favorite money woman, Theodora Otu, and don't you forget, I am always rooting for your financial success.